Hello, everybody. Today I'd like to talk about trusting God. Um, and a little bit of background here. Um, I remember in late 2019, early 2020, when the pandemic first hit, everybody was panicked as if it were the end of the world. That's kind of how they approach the situation, what with masks and social distancing. Some of that was necessary, I will agree. But, a lot of my friends were talking at that time that these are the end times and we're all going to hell and all of that sort of thing. I never, ever believed that for a single moment. And I was very adamant to preaching at the time, and I still am, that God is still in control, and He will see us through this. That's always been my attitude regarding any situation, really. I'd like to read from the book of Daniel. You all remember the story of Daniel in the lion's den, and I was really blessed looking at this story again because I think if any person in the Bible who really is an example of trusting God, it is Daniel. Okay? Because, he knew that God would rescue him, just as I know God will see us through our situations now. Because we all know that God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So I'm going to read Daniel chapter 6, starting at verse 7. The royal administrators, prefects, satraps, advisors, and governors have all agreed that the king should issue an edict and enforce the decree that anyone who prays to any god or human being during the next 30 days, except to you, your majesty, shall be thrown into the lion's den. Now you, your majesty, issue the decree and put it in writing so that it cannot be altered, in accordance with the law of Moses and Persians, which cannot be repealed. So King Darius put the decree in writing. Now when Daniel learned that the decree had been published, he went home to his upstairs room, where the windows were open toward Jerusalem. 3 times a day he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to his God, just as he had done before. Then these men went as a group and found Daniel praying and asking God for help. So they went to the king and spoke to him about the royal decree. Did you not publish a decree that during the next 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or human being, except you, your majesty, would be thrown into the lion's den? The king answered, the decree stands in accordance with the law of Moses and Persians, which cannot be repealed. Then they said to the king, Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you, your majesty, or to the decree you have put in writing. He still prays 3 times a day. When the king heard this, he was greatly distressed. He was determined to rescue Daniel and made every effort until sundown to save him. Then the men went as a group to King Darius and said to him, "Remember, Your Majesty, that according to the law of Moses and Persians, no decree or edict that the king issues can be changed." So the king gave the order, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the lion's den. The king said to Daniel, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." A stone was brought and placed over the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet, ring, and with the rings of his nobles. Excuse me, I'm having a slight problem reading this off my tablet because it's kind of far away from me. I'm doing my best. So that Daniel's situation might not be changed. Then the king returned to his palace and spent the night without eating and without any entertainment being brought to him, and he could not sleep. At the first light of dawn, the king got up and hurried to the lion's den. When he came near the den, he called to Daniel, in an anguished voice, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions?" Daniel answered, "May the king live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. Nor have I ever done anything wrong before you, Your Majesty." The king was overjoyed and gave orders to lift Daniel out of the den. And when Daniel was lifted from the den, no wound was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. Amen. And that's exactly what we have to do in today's day. We have to believe that God will see us through our troubled times. God did not promise us an easy life, but he did promise to be with us through it all. And so we just have to carry our faith. That's my message for today. Amen.